Welcome to Education Today. I'm Danielle Ion of West Shamokin High School in the Armstrong School District. Tonight we are talking about grants awarded through the ASD Foundation. Each month the Foundation accepts grant applications from any faculty or staff member who works in the Armstrong School District. During the school year we try to highlight some of these grants, which are unique in their own ways. Tonight's grant gives students the background and knowledge into writing and builds on both reading and writing skills, and is just one of the many that have been awarded this year. We have two guests with us to talk about this grant. Welcome to Education Today. Would you please introduce yourselves and your current roles with the district?
Hi, I'm Bobby Hamill, and I am a reading and English teacher at Fort City High School. I teach mostly 7th grade reading classes right now.
And I'm Laura Latanzio, and I teach at Fort City High School as well, and I teach 7th, 8th, and 9th grade reading classes.
And what is the name of your grant, and when was it awarded to you?
Our grant is titled Storytellers in Action, and it was awarded to us this year for $500.
And what kind of grant did you apply for, and what students were impacted by it?
We applied for a classroom grant, and students in grades 7th, 8th, and 9th grade reading were impacted by it.
Could you tell us a little bit about the grant that you wrote?
The grant mostly focuses on acquiring elements of stories, like theme and character and plot development. Students plan out their stories, they draft them, they revise them, they edit, and then finally they publish them, so it goes through the writing process as well. And they also they read a lot of stories along the way so that they can understand the different elements of the story.
And how did you come up with this idea?
Actually, a few years ago when I was teaching at Katanning High School, I had some students who kept asking me for publishing opportunities. They really wanted to write things and get their writing published, and at that point I didn't have a whole lot of materials to help them do that. So I started to think how nice it would be if my students could actually publish their own materials in hardbound format. So I looked online for a couple of different publishing sites that I had heard about, and I found one I really liked, and everything just kind of rolled from there.
And does this grant cover only your classes, or do multiple grades and teachers take advantage of these as well?
When I started, it was mostly just my class, but then I had some kits left over, so I offered them to some of the other classes. And when I got to Fort City High School, I asked Mrs. Latanzio if she would also like to participate. And then there were a couple of other teachers whose students were also willing to work on the grant. So it went from just 7th grade reading to covering also some of the Read 180 classes and some students who actually were in a more of a remedial kind of classroom.
So it was great to have them encompass the other classrooms of the students too, not only so that all the 7th graders were included as well.
And how have the students reacted to this grant, such as their thoughts, reactions, comments?
I think it's increased a lot of pride with students. They feel a great sense of self-efficacy and that they can actually write and publish their own materials.
And as going through the writing process, these books were fictional stories, so that they got to use prior experiences and different things that they had gone through along the way. So it was really nice for them to have this type of book.
And have you noticed the difference in the students' learning as far as picking up on concepts more quickly or things related to that?
I think that now that students are actually writing another piece that's nonfiction, all of the things that they learned earlier in the year with this grant are coming back, and it's making it a lot easier.
It lets them see too the process in which a writer would have to actually go through, and having this finished hard copy book is something that they accomplished, as she had mentioned, and they know how far and how long, and even as a timeline on how long it would take to complete it.
And what was the grant writing process like? Have you done anything like this before?
I've actually done this grant, or similar kinds of grants actually, about 3 times now. Every time I rewrite it, I try to make it a little bit better. I tweak this or I tweak that. I try to make it more inclusive, more inclusive, so that it covers more students. And then, depending on what skill I think I need to reinforce that year, I try to write it to focus more on that particular skill. This year, I thought that story elements was something that my students might need to work on based on test scores, so I kind of focused on that.
And what is the biggest benefit to having this grant awarded and instituted in your classes?
I think there are many benefits. One, in that we see students get excited about learning. When students get excited, they just tend to do better as far as their progress.
Just the pride in having something completed, and this is what I did. And able to share not only in the classroom their completed project and all the hard work that went up to having this, but also taking it home and sharing their books with their family members.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. Stick around.
All your professors, all of them, they know that all it takes is one dreamer with passion, one person, and they hope in each of you that you might be that one who makes a longer lasting light bulb, who writes music for the ages, who reaches into the mind and discovers a new star, and who can change the world of a fifth grader. We're gathered here to hope in you.
I'm Indiana County Sheriff Bob Fyhawk. We are all proud of Indiana County, but we must be worried about the negative growth of drugs and alcohol abuse. It is the responsibility of all of us, parents, teachers, and community leaders, to provide the best possible education to our youth in the prevention of drug and alcohol abuse. The law is a deterrent, but education is still our best protection. Help keep Indiana safe and drug-free. For more information on how to talk to your kids about drugs and alcohol, go to the abovetheinfluence.com, brought to you by the Armstrong, Indiana Drug-Free Communities Coalition.
The brain is a remarkable organ. It's almost infinite in its capacity. Its ability to reach its full potential is limited by only one thing: the heart. For if the heart isn't fully engaged in what you're doing, if you have no drive, no passion, the brain will simply go through the motions. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Jen McCroskey. I'm a prevention specialist with the Armstrong Indiana Clarion Drug and Alcohol Commission. Hey parents, put your drug knowledge to the test. Attend a free teen scene program. Learn about signs and symptoms of drug use and abuse, current drug trends, resources for help, and view a large display of items where drugs can be hidden. For more information, call 724-354-2746, extension 309 to schedule a program today. Brought to you by the Armstrong, Indiana Drug-Free Communities Coalition.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking about grants awarded through the AHS-TV Foundation. Tonight's grant was written by Dr. Bobby Hamill and Ms. Laura Latanzio. Could you please give us a little more detail about what exactly the grant accomplished?
I think that the grant gave students a sense of ownership over their own writing. It made them take responsibility for their writing, in meeting the deadlines on time and in improving, trying to get better. Each time they would draft something, they would work with their peers and they would learn something along the way and try to make it better.
And simply their willingness to write. They're just not taking a blank sheet of paper, and they're looking at it, they're putting down their ideas. So it was a willingness to even try, even harder.
And what important educational elements or aspects does this grant cover?
I think that it covers the ELA expectation for story elements as far as the reading and the writing goes. because the students have to know what the elements are in order to put them down into their own stories. And so what I would hope to see then through time is that their test scores in that area would get better.
And what are some of the challenges you faced with this grant?
For me, it was the technology, the fact that we had paper kits, and many of the students wanted to word process their kits, and it was hard to get a color printer to actually put the kits through. So the actual physical publishing part, even though it gets sent out to a publisher who binds it, was difficult to do. We did it, but it was frustrating, I think, at times, just in getting the resources to get that done.
We had the same problems as well.
Is this grant a self-sustaining grant, or will additional funding from year to year be needed?
We will need additional funding to pay for the kits. I'll say if, but I hope that we do definitely get to do it again, because each year we do it, it really makes a difference in our curriculum.
And what are your goals with this grant?
I would like to see students continue to write stories. Eventually, I'd like to span out into nonfiction as well, and have them write some nonfiction pieces with it, so that they are getting not just the short story elements, but also some of the nonfiction elements, because those are so important now.
And just for enjoyment as well, to take their ideas and expand their own ideas and their willingness to write.
And how difficult would this project have been to execute had the grant not been received?
Well, the students wouldn't have had these nice hardbound books that they have. I mean, everything gets put in a nice hardbound book for them. That's a lot different from just having a piece of paper that usually gets thrown either in the trash or the recyclable bin. This is something that they take pride in, and they take it home and they put it on their shelves, and it stays there, and they take it off and they read it, and it's there for years to come. It's not going to end up in a trash bin or recyclable bin.
And they were writing for a purpose, and their goal ultimately was to have this book sent back to them. And a lot of them were very eager and asked, when are we sending them in? When are we getting them back? And they wanted to see it in published form.
And are there any STEM-related objectives that this grant incorporates? And if so, could you tell us about them?
It mostly focuses on the reading and writing elements of our curriculum. So as far as STEM, this particular grant doesn't really cover STEM elements, but that's something that I'm hoping to do in the future, especially with the nonfiction. I want to put some science and math writing in here so that they're writing about those things as well.
And is there anything else that we may not have covered related to this grant or the process that you'd like to share?
I just think in my class especially, the students, by going through and from kindergarten on, they've gone through the writing process and gone through the different stages and steps. But I think whenever, as we mentioned, when they go through this final process and you have it up and we keep going over it, and they just take pride in what they've completed, and they become more aware of what is expected to them. Whenever we ask a student to write a paragraph, or when we ask them to answer questions on CDTs, or we're asking them to answer questions on PSSAs, they're taking more time, in my classes especially, to reread what they have, to go through it, and to take that ownership and pride in what they've written. So I think it was a success with our classes.
I think it makes a big difference whenever they feel like it is really theirs. They're doing it for themselves and a real audience versus just for us teachers.
And is there anything else either of you would like to add for the benefit of our viewers?
I would like to thank the ASD Foundation for awarding us this grant. Without it, this never would have happened. My students wouldn't have gotten these books, and their skills probably wouldn't be as refined as they are now. So that's an important and, well, very key piece.
And the cooperation in our schools with the different technologies that we were able to complete them as well.
Absolutely.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guests, Dr. Bobby Hamill and Miss Laura Latanzio, teachers here in the Armstrong School District. Our thanks go out to the TV production students of West Shamokin High School, led by their teacher, Mrs. Karen Coulter. They were our film crew today. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week.
Welcome to Education Today. I'm Zach Horner.
And I'm Austin Reisman of West Shamokin High School in the Armstrong School District. Students and their involvement in different and various activities are just one of the many topics that we cover here at Education Today. There are many different ways students can become involved in their schools and communities. This kind of positive news is the kind that we like to share with our viewers.
Tonight we have a few students joining us to talk about their involvement in different activities and experience with a conference that they attended a few months back.
Welcome to Education Today. Would you please introduce yourselves and tell us what grade you're currently in?
I'm Morgan McCaslin, and I'm a senior.
I'm Liz Cornish, and I'm also a senior.
I'm Austin Porter, and I'm also a senior.
What activities are you currently involved in?
I'm on the board of directors for Leo Club. I'm the vice president of National Honor Society. I'm also class president, and I belong to Tri-M, which is a musical honor society, and I run cross country.
Okay.
I am currently involved in basketball, cross country, Young Rough Riders 4-H Club, Triple S 4-H Club, Leo Club, National Honor Society, and Tri-M.
I'm on the golf team. I'm in Leo Club and National Honor Society.
So why did you guys decide to become involved in extracurricular activities?
To better myself and others around me and to experience new opportunities.
So why did you decide to become involved in extracurricular activities?
To better myself, the others around me, and to experience new opportunities.
Do any of you also have a job that you work while in school or during the summer?
I am a waitress at the local restaurant.
Okay. What is it like trying to balance your schoolwork with the requirements of these other activities?
It's really difficult, but you gotta try to make the best that you can make.
It's a good attitude.
Why do you think it's important to become involved?
To experience new opportunities and to become a better leader.
How would you say you've benefited from taking part in these activities?
I benefited from getting the great opportunities of meeting new people and being involved.
Of everything that you're involved in, what aspect of your life is most challenging?
Probably keeping up with all the schoolwork and other extracurricular activities together and trying to keep it all good.
Right. If you could give any advice to incoming students about school and extracurricular activities, what would it be and why?
It's good to be involved and to keep your grades up, but don't overload yourself.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Riley's a great experience. If you have the opportunity to go, take it.
Okay, well, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. Stick around.
Success. We see it every day. Hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes, internationally known faculty who are committed to your success. Real-world experiences to guide you on your career and life path. An alumni network 120,000 strong. I'm IUP President Mike Driscoll. Visit us. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Vince Mercuri, Executive Director of The Open Door. Worried, scared, confused, not sure where to turn for help? The Open Door, a behavioral health organization, has a full range of addiction counseling services and mental health crisis intervention services which may be able to help. Call 724-465-2605 or 1-877-333-2470. The Open Door, Steps Towards Hope, Courage, and Recovery. Brought to you by the Armstrong, Indiana Drug-Free Communities Coalition.
It's hard to explain. It just became home. There are hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes and faculty that really get to know you. Amazing internships and everywhere, programs that help to find a job that is right for you. It's what IUP is about, a commitment to your success. See it for yourself. Visit us, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
Hello, I'm Cindy McCrae, Director of Arc Manor Addiction Recovery Center. Arc Manor is committed to confidential quality services 24 hours a day, including fully licensed residential, partial hospital, and outpatient treatment programs. With 39 years of experience in addiction treatment, Arc Manor puts an emphasis on the needs of special populations including women, co-occurring disorders, and adolescents. For more information, call 724-548-7607 or 800-323-1333. Brought to you by the Armstrong, Indiana Drug-Free Communities Coalition.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. Tonight we are talking to a few students from West Shamokin High School about their involvement in different activities.
We've brought you down to specifically talk about one particular program. When and where was the RILA conference?
RILA was June 7th through the 13th, and it was at Westminster College in New Wilmington, PA.
Can you tell us what RILA stands for?
Rotary Youth Leadership Award.
What activity are you involved in that is associated with this conference?
I'm in the Leo Club, which does some community service activities.
So what's the point of the conference?
It was to sharpen our leadership skills and to meet a lot of new people from Western Pennsylvania.
Why did you decide to attend this conference?
To help strengthen my leadership.
What kind of activities or other learning took place at the conference?
There were some inspirational speakers that motivated us to keep on leading.
What was your favorite part of the conference and why?
Probably meeting all of the new people. It's almost like when we go to college, we'll get to meet all the new people. It's a little bit of a taste of what's going to happen later on in life.
Given the opportunity, would you recommend attending this conference to fellow classmates?
Yes, I would definitely recommend it. It was a great experience and great opportunity to meet new people.
Why do you feel this conference was important?
I felt it was important because we got to meet the different people that are out there that are in our kind of situation, and then got to learn other aspects of what it takes to be a leader.
What other initiatives or activities does RILA plan, or what are they working on right now?
The students that attend RILA, we all get scholarships for 4 colleges, and 2 of the kids there were handed out extra money for their scholarships for what they did during the week.
Okay. Does this group do anything as far as community services?
As far as I know, I don't think so.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add that we may not have covered?
It's definitely a great opportunity to take, and if you have the chance, do it.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guests, Morgan McCaslin, Lizzie Cornish, and Austin Porter from West Shamokin High School for taking the time to come in and talk to us today. Our thanks goes out to the TV production students of West Shamokin High School, led by their teacher, Mrs. Karen Coulter. They were our film crew today.
Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week.